Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well today. We're going to be doing our lovers in a separation reading. And this is for those who are separated from their person at this now moment. Many of you are always wondering what's going on with their person. Well, thing is that we don't worry about what's going on with our person. What we do is we worry about what's going on within ourselves and what's going on within our energies. Because as we see what's in our energies, we then can understand what's available to us and what things we need to let go of so that we can have either that special person or whatever love has to offer for us in this now moment. So let's take a look at this. Spirit, what is the energies for that collective that is in separation this now moment? And Spirit saying surrender. At times we must surrender the old before something new can enter our lives. Let go and all will work out, right? So first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to work on our surrender, right? And what does that surrender mean? For us, surrendering means letting go, right? It means allowing the universe to work as it's meant to, allowing yourself to work as you're meant to, but by holding on to energies that no longer serve you, that no longer align to you, they keep you stuck, right? And that's what we want to try to do here is to stay unstuck, to allow us to get out of these loops, these karmic loops that's kept us recycling lifetime after lifetime. So, Spirit, what is it? What are the energies that are available to us now for love? All right. So let's take a look at this. So Spirit's saying, uh, first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to love yourself first. And this is a big one, right? We need to love ourselves. And if we don't love ourselves, then how can we expect love to come in at any rate? Spirit's saying that there is a reconciliation coming in, right? And it's going to start with a heart to heart conversation, right? And then it's a period of getting to know each other again from this separation. So let's find out more and more about this. And just remember, everybody, for those of you who are not familiar with my reads, things on the side, this is what we call the hamster wheel of karma. We want to stay away from this. Here's where we are, and here's where we want to be, right? So we want to make sure that as we are going through things, that we are going through to get to where we want to be, not to where we are supposed, where we think we want to be. So with that, let's go take a look at what other information Spirit wants to give us about this collective that is in separation with their person at this point. And we can label that person any way we want. You want to label it a twin flame. You want to label it a soulmate. You want to label it a divine counterpart. You want to just label it a person. That's okay. You can label it whatever you prefer to label it. It's just that it's a label. What we want to do is we just want to see what's going on with the energies because we work on energies here, not in stories. So, Spirit, what else do you want to tell us about this collection, this collective that is in separation with their person? So, a few more cards. There we go. So, let's see what else Spirit wants to tell us about this collective, the one that is in separation with their person. Remember, when this comes to your awareness, this there are elements of it for you. It is a collective reading, so it's not gonna resonate with everybody. But you take what resonates and leave the rest behind because there's special messages for specific people in these. So. Spirit's saying that there's a lot of storms ahead. You got to be careful. There's a storm coming and uh, you're going to have to weather that storm. We got to work on whatever addictions we have, whether that's for substances, whether that's, you know, emotional addiction, unhealthy attachment, whatever it is. We've got to clear this up because this is part of loving yourself, which is how we're going to get to here. Right? For some of you, the person you have on your mind, this is a forever breakup. This is not coming back. Um, But you got to look between the lines. Look for what's hidden because there is something hidden, somebody hidden within this connection. there's going to be a change and transition, and that change has to come from you. Don't worry about what your person's changing. You change. You change for you and only for you for things that you know that you need to change in order to allow this to come in. And once you do, this is going to start with a call, right? And that call is going to start that heart to heart conversation, and then the reconciliation is going to come in. Make sure that when you're ready to make that change, you're also in a place where you're non-committal and not in the bad way of non-committal. This is in a good way of knowing your value, knowing your worth, and not caring whether this person over here comes back in, but allowing who's meant to come back in. Because remember, reconciliation doesn't mean that specific person on your mind. It can be a past life person. It can be somebody from further in your past. We don't know. Cards aren't telling us that at this moment. So don't try to control it. Don't try to force something that may not happen, because if you try to force that, then you may wind up blocking this whole section, and that's not where we want to be. So let's go take a look at what else the cards want to give us. Let's see how it is that we are blocking in this now moment, because when love isn't right here at this now moment, we always look to what it is that we're doing energetically. Because remember, we create our own story. We're not victims of anybody but ourselves. And so we have to take responsibility for our choices, because we're making choices every time, every now moment. In this now moment, many of you are making a choice to watch this reading. Many of you may make a choice to say, hey, that reading's not for me, and I'm just gonna shut it off. Or you may decide, hey, let me see where it goes to the end, right? Each of these choices have knock-on effects. And so we are always creating, we are always choosing. So those of you who are not familiar with my spread, everything here is going to be stuff that you don't want to manifest in this world. These are loops that are keeping you stuck. Here's how here's where you are. Here's what energies are good for you that are going to help you get to here, which is your positive manifestations. So now let's get into what is it that's going on that, potentially could be blocking this reconciliation from coming in, this true love, right? Let's see where we have, what do we have going on? So Spirit, show me what is blocking this connection from coming in, right? And we always look to ourselves to what it is that we're doing, because we don't care what the other person's doing. That's their problem and their trauma to solve. We can't solve it for them. They have to solve it themselves. They're responsible for them. You're responsible for you. If you focus on you, most likely they'll be focusing on them, but they always have a choice too. So for many of you, it's being too busy, right? I'm always too busy as an excuse not to find that love, not to allow that love in. And why do you become busy? Is because you're truly afraid to open up your heart. You're truly afraid to love. You're truly afraid to be vulnerable. Too busy. You've got to make some time if you want some love. Untrue stories. You tell yourself bad things. Change your stories and see the good that can happen. You say to yourself, you're not lovable. Nobody can love you. There's nobody out there for you. And every one of those stories resonates and creates this hamster wheel of karma that keeps you looped. Start unlooping yourself. Start telling yourself a different story. And unsocial. You need to get out there and mingle with people so that you can meet somebody. Nobody's coming to your front door if the door is closed and the door is locked and you don't have anything there. By sitting by yourself waiting for something to happen, that's not helping you either. So you have to kind of get out, at least try to be social. It doesn't mean you have to go out every night and party your ass off, but make yourself available somehow, however that is, online, whatever that is, you make yourself available. All right, so let's take a look. We now kind of understand what's blocking us within this connection to love. Let's see what it is that our higher self is saying are things that can help us get over to this side, the side that we want, which is the side of reconciliation, the call, the having the conversations heart to heart over again and getting to know them again. And let's see what else we have here. Spirit, show us how do we get there? Because what we always look for is how do we solve our problems, not how do we ignore them, how do we push them under the carpet. So Spirit's given us a few cards here, more than usual. So Spirit's saying, big one, meditate, connect to self, start getting to know who you are so you can find that love in yourself again. Do a social media detox, right? A lot of you guys have been doom scrolling, watching every twin flame reading there is when. And those most of those are pretty toxic because they keep you looping on what your person's doing. And you got to stop looping on what your person's doing. You got to stop caring about what your supposed person is doing because that isn't helping you. It's only keeping you stuck. It's keeping you in low vibration. Get away from those readers that are telling you that this person's having parties and having STDs and all these other things because that's meant to keep you stuck. These are people that are unwillingly becoming part of the Dark Collective by allowing you to get all hyped up about a twin flame and then start giving you all these things that are awful about them. And again, how is that helping you? It's not. You work on self and you connect to self, you meditate. And Spirit's saying, open up. You're being asked to open your heart, right? And let down your walls, break those walls. And why do we want to do that? Because you can't have love if you're not vulnerable yourself. You have to be vulnerable enough for love to allow love to come in. Otherwise, it's just a trauma bond. And Spirit says, last but not least, just be. Be who you are, not who everybody tells you should be. Don't be who your friends tell you should be. Be who you are. And how do you get to know who you are? By opening your heart and meditating and connecting to self. Surrender, surrender, surrender to yourself. So, with that, Spirit saying, what's coming in as a soulmate, right? And this is what we want. Soulmate is somebody who is got an energetic contract with you. They're in a higher vibration match to you. This is what we want. You will find this if you go through here, but these are choices. Healing is always a choice. And Spirit says, when you finally kind of follow this plan, there's going to be a big celebration. Wow, you can't ask for a better set of energies. There's a lot here in this energy here that we have to work on, but if we work on it, look at what we get, right? And it's all about you. It's not about your person. It's not about anybody else but you. It's you connecting to you, you healing you, you doing you. And so with that, let's take a look at timing, right? And everybody wants to know when. Let's get right to the end of the read at the beginning of the read. And we don't do that. Of course, we need people to really understand what it is that we can do to help, right? Because this channel is not about, you know, keeping you stuck on a twin flame story or a divine counterpart story, however you want to label it, forever and ever and ever. And the story always keeps on changing, and it's always something that blocks it. And oh, you're starting back from scratch, from zero again. When have you ever seen the Union one come through that actually came true? And it never does. Why? Because nobody's working on themselves. They're too busy following what the other person's doing and waiting by the door. We don't do that here. We work on self and then we allow for what's meant to happen. So with that, let's look at timing. Spirit, what is the timing? And remember, timing is fluid. Every now moment creates new choices in the now moment, which creates new timelines. So Spirit's saying it's going to happen at the end of a journey, right? You just need to wait. The wish will come true naturally. And this is what we've been trying to tell you from A to B. Don't force things. Don't try to control things. Allow things to happen as they're meant to, but they're not going to happen until you get to this bridge area here, which is opening yourself up to yourself, surrendering to yourself, meditating to yourself, getting to know who you are, finding the love within yourself. And once you have that love within yourself, this is all just going to come naturally swooping in. I see it like a big storm just rushing in, lightning and thunder, but it's a good lightning and thunder. So with that, please do like, follow, share, and subscribe. Reach out if you're looking for your own personal reading at silverfoxspiritual@gmail.com. And with that, I will see you in the next read. Have a great day, everybody.